You were live.
And we are live! Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to this week's episode. Thank you, and welcome to this week's episode of Exploring Star Trek Discovery. I am your host, Average Joe, the Average Geek, and I've got two of my three bridge crew tonight, so we're getting somewhere. We're moving on up in the world. Got Pat Whitehead and Will Smith. How's it going, fellas?
Doing right.
Good.
Good. So, good episode tonight. Glad y'all could make it. And welcome to everyone in the chat room. I can already see we got some regulars that are already here. Fantastic. I love y'all being here from week to week. So here's what we're gonna do. The first half of the show, we're gonna bloviate. We're gonna talk about the things we liked, maybe some things that we didn't like. We're gonna talk about this episode, and then the second half of the episode, we're gonna open it up to people and see if we can't get a couple of people in here to partake in the Trekkie goodness. Hashtag Trekkie Parts. Get it trending. So, all right. Hey, look, there I am. Boom. All right. So, Vis Pacem pare Bellum. Good episode. I really enjoyed this episode quite a bit. I don't know if it was necessarily the game changer that it was built out to be, but it was definitely important, and there were some really good things that happened in this episode. However, I do kind of feel that it was just set up for next week's fall finale.
Yep, that's exactly what it was for.
Yeah. Just a teaser.
And that is okay. Definitely the star of tonight's episode was Commander Saru, the Kelpian himself. It's finally get him to be in the spotlight for an episode. Really get to get into his what it means to be a Kelpian and all these great things regarding his species, which was really cool. I have to admit, I was completely shocked to find out that they run at 50 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's pretty quick. It's a cheetah. Saru, the two-legged cheetah.
Oh, yeah. How he was boasting that he could get to the transmitter within 15 minutes. He didn't need them. So yeah, that was
Yeah.
It was like, okay, what was the point of Burnham? And
Right.
Yeah.
For a species for like a species that's built on fear, of course you're going to have that type of top speed, don't you?
Absolutely. So this is kind of interesting. We learned in Desperate Hours that for the most part his species lives underground. The reason the Kelpians are so biologically predetermined to sense oncoming death isn't because they are natural. There was a big violation of the Prime Directive on Kelpia. Thousands and thousands and thousands and millions of years ago, where an external species landed on Kelpia and rained hell upon the Kelpian people, and it caused their biology to go in that direction. And yes, J Tank, that donkey kick though, when he turned around and he straight up donkey kicked Burnham, and the air just. And she just hit that deck. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, she was done, dude.
Yeah. See, Amaze Satsuma goes, I wasn't surprised that the speed makes sense for the species. It does. But didn't expect Saru was going to be that strong. I was like, that's a very good. Why is this dude afraid of everything? He can A, outrun it, and B, kick that sumbitch to death. So it was fun getting some good Saru stuff. For those that have read Desperate Hours, because Desperate Hours is the first canon Trek novel. It is officially licensed and an official tie-in to Discovery. We learned some pretty interesting things regarding Saru as a character. Saru has been in Starfleet up until when that story took place, which was a couple of years after before the TV series. Saru's been in Starfleet for 16 years. He was the natural step in line to be Georgiou's first officer, and Michael Burnham jumped right over him. And it did not go well with him. He thinks it's complete and total malarkey, and has not been a big fan of Michael Burnham ever since then and before then. He feels that she is impulsive and impetuous, and wasn't trained by Starfleet and had no business being Georgiou's first officer. And then, of course, we know what happened in the prologue episodes. So, we're seeing the fruits of that now in this episode quite a bit. When Saru is talking to Burnham, is like, you can't take this away from me too, and says that a couple of times in those scenes around the spire. Just speaking of Georgiou dying, the start of the war, and all that we saw. He's speaking of Burnham taking his career from him. Like, he could be a captain now if Burnham hadn't jumped over him. Well, what y'all think about that? What do y'all think about Saru as a character in this episode?
I thought it was good character. You saw a little bit more behind his character, and and backstory. But we saw in a couple episodes back when he did the had the computer do the captain evaluation between him versus Lorca and Kirk and all them, and kind of proved that no,
yeah,
he wouldn't be a good captain. So
yeah, he's too. I don't know, hopefully we'll see him get over that. He's so hamstrung by this fear response that is natural to his species that it hamstrings him. And it's kind of sad because he's a brilliant scientist, and he's the first contact specialist on the Discovery. And he's a brilliant Starfleet officer and a brilliant scientist, and generally, fantastic guy. But his fear is compromising him. Let's see. PJ's channel goes, I love Saru, but his possession irritated me. He wasn't possessed though. Like, he says that to Burnham at the end, and Burnham was like, "Oh, it wasn't you," and he's like, "No, it was me." He felt for the very first time in his existence what it was like to live without fear, and it made him drunk.
Yeah, he was hopped up on happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty much taken away, and now he finally feels this peace that he's been desiring since he was since he was born. He finally has it, and he doesn't really know what to do with it. And he would he would do anything he can to retain that.
Yeah, I can imagine living your life with this constant hum of generalized anxiety that tainted everything you do, and then all of a sudden you wake up one day and it's just. I don't know how I'd react to that. I imagine it would be intoxicating to a degree. Daddy James Films goes, this planet was Saru crack. It was. And I imagine it made him feel powerful. It's like to be able to act without this fear and inhibition, to run, free of fear. To be able to be strong and decisive and powerful. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And when you finally get that taste of power, it goes bad for most sentients.
Well, he had that little clarifying moment. It's like a telepath. They're constantly hearing the voices, in their head, and all of a sudden it's quiet. He had that one moment of, oh shit,
Yeah. It's a Small World. One goes, hello. I felt sad for Saru, always living in fear. Yeah, that has to be a bad existence. Like, I wonder. It kind of makes me wonder. Is like, how many Kelpians leave Kelpia? Are there many Kelpians in Starfleet? Are there many Kelpians that have left their planets and entered the galactic community as a whole? I can imagine with that kind of fear response, the answer is no.
Well, didn't he in the prologue? Didn't he kind of say that he's the ambassador of the planet, so of his planet, his species? So wouldn't he be the only one?
Maybe. I'll have to go back and double check, but it seems entirely possible.
Yeah. Just to get any Kelpian off their planet to do really anything would seem like a bit of a challenge, when you think.
Right. Definitely. And then especially to get into a high-risk career like Starfleet. They're scientists and explorers for the vast majority of their existence, but exploration on the frontier is dangerous.
I wonder what that incentive was to get Saru into Starfleet. It must have been some kind of incentive.
I'd be very interested to see. I'm very interested to see. Get a little deeper into that backstory. Like, why did Saru choose to join Starfleet? Desperate Hours didn't really talk a lot about why he joined Starfleet. Kind of his ideas and opinions and his thoughts whilst in Starfleet, but not really beforehand. So I'm kind of curious as to what drove him in that direction. Definitely. Let's see. We got some other things. I had a little notes right here. Let me go ahead and pull this up. I know this is riveting stuff. Let me see. Okay. So we talked about the Kelpians. The Kelpian species is badass, fast and strong, and when they're not cowering in fear. Let's talk about Michael Burnham. Michael Burnham is, in fact, a human being. I'm really glad that she is breaking away that Vulcan exterior. It's getting chipped away slowly but surely, and Tyler has absolutely helped in that. I'm really digging some Michael Burnham now. Her character growth has been wonderful.
Yeah, the conversation between her and Tyler were kind of cool. While he was saying, "Hey, when the war is over, I'm gonna go home and get on my fishing, on my house on the lake and fish and yada yada." And she's like, interesting how our futures are different. While you vacation, I'll be going back to jail.
Yeah.
She hasn't been absolved of the crime. She hasn't been pardoned. She's been given a field commission, the War Powers Act of Starfleet War Powers Act. But when all this is over, it's safe to consume. She will be heading back to New Zealand or wherever. Which is kind of sad because, a lot of people were like, a question earlier in chat, somebody asked about whether or not Michael Burnham will receive a Starfleet commission, a captain's commission. I don't know. I don't see that happening. I see her dying in a blaze of glory, dying a Starfleet hero, and getting a posthumous commission again. Like a posthumous pardon. I don't really see her getting the chair. But I don't know. Because the Federation's all about forgiveness and new beginnings. It's that enlightened mindset. It's entirely possible. It's entirely possible, but I don't see it happening. I hope it happens.
Would Starfleet actually forgive the person who ignited a war? We
can't
project.
She did not start the war. She did not start the war. The Klingon Takuvma was going to start that war regardless. Now, that's information the audience knows. Starfleet doesn't know that. But we as an audience, because we got to see it happen, Takuvma was going to fire regardless.
Yeah. Well, we know that, but I'm purely speaking Starfleet. So
I don't know, man. It's entirely possible. Because like I said, that is what it means to be Starfleet. That is that nature of the Federation itself is to be one of forgiveness and new beginnings, and it's entirely possible. Let's see. What did we think of the Laurel? I believe Laurel wants Cole dead.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't believe that she wants to defect to Starfleet, the Federation.
No,
that was the interrogation trick, straight up.
yeah. When she was telling Cornwell to scream just to get the guard away, I mean that was kind of cool. But the fact that when she walked into that room and saw all of her comrades dead, and that just kind of pushed her over the limit.
Yeah,
even more so she already was.
Yeah, I like I said, I do believe she wants Cole dead, and I like Laurel. I kind of like that we're getting some character development from the Klingons. That they're not all monsters. Now Laurel's a monster, Cole's a monster. They're not good people by any shape or means of the word, but we are getting that development from Laurel, and part of me. Because of the way we've seen Klingons in Star Trek over in the past, especially in the future, Next Generation, DS9 Klingons, when they're not the bad guys, yeah, they're douchebags, yeah, they get drunk, yeah, they get the fight, yeah, they're a warrior culture, but they're not bad guys. That part of me wants to believe Laurel.
Right.
They go, okay, maybe she's not bad, Because then again, we don't know what happened to Admiral Cornwell. We don't know. All we know is that she told Cole, that Laurel told Cole, she escaped. So it is still entirely possible that Cornwell and Laurel have a plan. We just don't know.
Yeah.
And it looks like we've temporarily lost Pat.
Yeah. Oh, that might be him. Maybe.
Let's see. It's a Small World goes, I hope she doesn't, in regards to Michael, I hope she doesn't return to prison. The sentence was too much. Why life in prison? Because it's a military commission, and mutiny in a military commission is like, I mean, you don't get the same things afforded to you when you join the military. You do what you're told.
Kind of parallel Teresa the Vince here. So
right, yeah, we want let's see the Bergdahl situations.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Well, Klingons are good in the context of being Klingons, absolutely. She's just what happened to Volk. She conveniently didn't speak about his outcome. Yeah, Laurel is playing three sides of the fence right now. She's playing Cole for everything she can get from Cole. She's playing Cornwell for everything she can get from Cornwell, and she's playing Volk. Like she's got things on the side with Volk. Like she's doing whatever she wants to do right now. She is one of the most calculating. She is making Lursa and Bellator from the Future Trek look horribly inept. Of course they were, but she's playing everybody. Like she is playing the long game, and I think Laurel is going to be a key factor in the end of the Klingon Federation War. I really do. So what do y'all think about Laurel as a character?
Calculating. She's. I don't really know what to make of her, except that she knows what she's doing, and she's leaving all of us in the state of you're going to have your pro Laurel, you're going to have your anti Laurel people. But I'm somewhere in the middle. It's like, I mean, she can play both roles very well. And also another thing too is the fact that we haven't really seen a lot of a crossover from we have hints and stuff about the threads for the original series through on the Discovery side, but not so much on the Klingon side as of yet. So maybe she might I don't know. Maybe she might have something to do with that. So, as far as
Yeah. No, like because I think Takuvma had a deal with the Romulans. I think that's how he got a hold of the cloaking technology, and that would tie that in with established canon. Because like a lot of times with this canon stuff, canon is important. We had the whole episode about it. Canon is important when you're doing these kinds of stories. But a lot of the details we have of canon is like, okay, we got a one-sentence line in a single episode, and that is hard stone canon. We don't have any details about any of that stuff. Like, all we know is that the Klingons got cloaking technology from the Romulans. The details regarding that's still stories that need to be told.
Right.
So I think Takuvma got signed a deal with the Romulans to kind of destabilize the Klingon Empire or any number of a million different things that could be written into the story to get the cloaking technology. And then, of course, Cole is using it, to do whatever Cole is doing.
Yeah.
Man, Pat's just having all kinds of issues tonight.
Yeah, I think Kevin's trying to call in.
Yeah, I just sent another invite to our Dark Lord and Savior, Kevin. We'll see if he can click in tonight.
Yeah.
Let's see. Got a lot of good chat going on right now. Let's see. Steven Stodd, he's back. In a Starfleet situation, Burnham would have been facing the death penalty had the same thing happened in the U.S. Navy. Absolutely. Was it just an act that Cole inducted her and then arrested her? Why would he induct her first? Because Cole's a power-hungry asshole. He even said, he's like, I'm not trying to unite, the clans. I'm trying to unite the Klingon Empire under my rule. He's not trying to be a good Klingon. He's just trying to be the Klingon.
Right.
Small World 1 is, I like the battle scenes. Yeah, the battle scenes, that was pretty wicked with the late great Gagarin getting annihilated. Oh man, like Starfleet's getting shredded, and against these Klingon ships, they can't hang. They just don't have the technology to hang like they should right now, and that's kind of sad. So. But that was pretty sweet, seeing the Discovery just kind of pop in on that distress call,
right,
and then go to town. Yeah, the battle scenes are amazing. That's one of the great benefits about this show is that the show is incredibly cinematic. It is one of the best aspects of this show. Is it looks like you're watching a movie each and every week. Yeah, the bridge conversation during the battle, yeah, that was pretty cool too. Where Lorca is like, "Could you please fire on someone?" Like,
yeah, right.
Do you mind shooting people? Like, we're trying to fight here. Please pay attention.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
See, Steven Stein goes, actually, I don't think we have firm proof that's how the Klingons got cloaking technology. Spock mentions the ship exchange and Enterprise incident, but no evidence about an exchange. See? Absolutely. That's true. That's true. It's like that goes back to the whole we get, little bits and pieces and a couple of sentences here or there to establish this historical backstory, for these conflicts, but we don't know the details. So, don't know the details. Eric Taylor goes, looks like the battle scenes next week will have a lot of black alerts. Stamets will be taxed. Oh, yeah, because it looks like they're jumping all over the battlefield, which is wicked.
Speaking of Stamens,
oh, Pat. There you go. Having a little technical difficulties.
Apparently so.
He blew an EPS conduit.
Yeah, but I tell you something that I noticed. It's like we finally got to another planet that we haven't really been to since the pilot episode.
That's right. Yep. We got a little. We got our first away mission.
You know,
Which was cool.
what's it? Bravo.
Yeah, which was awesome. And not only did we got our first away mission, we got our first non-corporeal species of Discovery, which was really cool. And I'm going to have battery issues in a little bit. Okay, well, let's just see what happens. Hopefully, I won't pop out of existence again, and then you'll be running the show. Hey, there you go. What's going on, Kevin? Glad you can make it.
Woohoo!
We're all finally together again.
Oh,
At
you
last.
calling me now.
Nobody gets court-martialed this week.
Really led myself to my will. So.
Yes. Stamets. That's another point I wanted to talk about. Like, Stamets, there's some very interesting things going on with that guy. So, we know through the mycelium network that he is seeing all of space-time, and he's getting very hippy-dippy, kind of what's going on when he uses this drive. So when he pops out of it and he calls Tilly Captain, so here's my idea. Because he even says it when he's in the mess hall, and Tilly comes up to him. He's like, some of the things I know is like I'll come out of it, and the things I know have changed. I know different things. So I think that is a bit of the future kind of leaking in. Is that a little foreshadowing into the future? Will there be a Captain Tilly, not in the course of Discovery, but into the future? Yeah, I think so.
Possibly. Or maybe he's seeing into the mirror universe where Tilly is the captain.
Maybe. Lots of weird possibilities. And I can't wait. So we're coming up on the end of the first half of the season. So next week is going to be the fall finale, and then there's going to be no new episodes until January, and it makes me want to cry. So do we think the Klingon conflict is going to continue further into the second half of the season? Or do we think it might be reaching ahead next week with the Discovery versus the sarcophagus ship?
I think next week's episode is possible turning point for the series. When it comes back in January, the war is going to be kind of in the background, but not the main focus.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty legitimate way of looking at it right there. Because we know that war is going to be finished this first season. Next season is going to be something completely different. It's been said that next season is going to kind of begin the whole let's go explore kind of aspect of it all. And I'm half expecting next season for there to be no Spore Hub drive. That next season is just going to be traditional Cochrane drive, go head out into space and see what you can find. Second starter to ride straight on till morning kind of thing.
I can see that. Yeah, I think it's gonna. I think it's definitely going to continue on into the winter half of the season. We might see the destruction of the sarcophagus.
Yeah, let's get that because that sarcophagus has to go. Like Cole has to die. Like he's done. Get him out of here.
Yeah, good to see another leader pick up.
Because in just 10 years, time in the original series, the war is over with. But the Klingons aren't some. There was a couple of Klingon episodes in the original series, but they weren't this evil, like cloud of death sitting over the the Federation. It was space pirates here and there kind of idea. So something's going to happen. Something big's going to happen to the Klingons. And I continue to think that L'Rell is going to be a linchpin in all of that. It would not surprise me that if that Laurel at the end of the season or at the end of the Klingon War story arc, that Laurel is in charge of the 24 houses. Like she is chancellor. Maybe Laurel is the first chancellor of the Klingon Empire. Because they don't seem to be very imperial now. You know, that there's a lot of pushing, a lot of spacings, but the houses aren't united into the banner of the Klingon Empire at all. So maybe Laurel is the first empress.
Maybe.
That's a possibility.
I mean, she's got the mentality for it. She's got the mentality. She ain't afraid to cut people down. You know.
Yeah.
Let me see. I hope I'm right about that because I think that'd be pretty cool.
She's vexing, basically.
Yes, without a doubt. Let's see. What else did I want to talk about? Let's see. Like this episode was good. It wasn't very dense. Like there wasn't a whole lot going down right now. I mean, we talked about Laurel. You know, we talked about Saru and the Kelpians, and Michael Burnham is in fact a human being. Kind of interested to see how the Discovery is going to fare against the sarcophagus ship. That sarcophagus ship shredded the 40-year-old Shinjo to bits. Just chewed it up and spat it out in the prologue episodes. I'm kind of curious to see how that ship's going to fare against a top-of-the-line Starfleet vessel. So I guess we'll see that next week.
I don't know. They got the spore drive. You know, they can do the instant transmission. You know,
right? Stephen Stotton goes, well, remember that Laurel told Voq she does not want to rule, just assist behind the scenes. I think she will work to put Voq in the center seat of the Empire. So that seems possible, but at the same time, she's playing everybody. Like, everybody's getting played. Maybe she was just blowing smoke up Voq's ass. The way she's blowing it up, you know, Cole's. Blowing it up Cornwell's. It blew it up to Kuvma's. Like, she is out for herself and only herself.
Yeah. I hope she keeps her lies straight. You know what I mean?
Maybe she's maybe she's getting set up to be the first chancellor.
Well, maybe. Of course, maybe. I don't know, man. It's so hard to tell. Because, you got to, like Pat just said, you got to keep her lies straight. Because all it's going to take is one thing to one person to call her on her bullshit, and that's it.
Well, didn't Laurel get escorted off?
She did. She did.
So, yeah, not sure what's going to happen to her next episode. I mean, they could pull a complete change and just kill her off, but I doubt they were going to do that.
Right.
It's probably one of those scenes where, like, she's in the Klingon brig and everything. The coffin ship is getting his ass handed to him by the Discovery and everything. The bridge crew, Cole, might be injured, and you know the locks come off the cell. She's walking through the ship. You know, Cole's like, you know, oh, help me out, and she's got a bat left right in his back or something. You know,
right.
One of those stereotypical iconic, you know, fuck you scenes, you know. You left me for dead, you know.
All right. Let's see. A little typey right there. Send an invite to myself. So at the very least, if this computer shuts off because the cord for this computer was left elsewhere, that way I can have a backup. I should be able to log in pretty quickly. if I do kick out, please, guys, keep the conversation going. All right. So We talked about it. Now
I
let's
guess.
go ahead and let's get somebody else on here. Let's see. If you want to jump in on the show, go ahead and drop your email in chat, and I'll send out an invite. Let's see. What else did I want to mention? I'm so prepared this week. I'm sorry. Okay, the Pavins. Okay. I feel like the Pavin naivete of getting these two people together is going to get people killed.
You think?
Maybe. Or the Pavins, they'll start slugging it out with one another, and the Pavins will go, you know what? Time out. And they shut both ships down. Because we know that they can transport people because they just brought Ash Tyler out of nowhere, right there to the spire, the little antenna thing, the crystal antenna,
the transponder.
Yeah. So maybe they will, they're sitting there, and then they'll just transport Lorca and Cole off of their respective ships onto the planet.
You two have it out. You two talk. You ain't getting.
Yeah, and then they just start.
You're not getting off this planet until you do. What?
And they just start beating each other.
We talk with our fist.
Yeah,
sort of pull.
Yeah, Plant's gonna be the referee.
So you mean they might pull a mini Organian action?
Yeah,
that seems logical.
The Pavins reminded me of like the Traveler almost, from Voyager in the sense that what they were capable of, making Serac have a moment of blissful peace, transporting Tyler, I mean, maybe they are the Travelers,
There's some speculation online about that through all of this. Maybe Stamets becomes the Traveler from the Next Generation.
Well,
He evolved in hardcore.
Yeah. Well, we don't know how this genetic manipulation is going to affect him. Maybe he grows some forehead ridges, gets a little taller, starts traveling the galaxy. Or the universe, rather.
That's an interesting theory there.
It's an idea.
Yeah.
Maybe this mycelium network is how the Traveler travels.
Ooh.
Interesting.
But I'll tell you another comparison I have with Pavo is the fact that, it obviously, like we talked about before, obviously it doesn't know what it's doing is going to be destructive. It's very naive. And kind of like how V'ger was just trying to seek out his creator and wasn't really out to harm anybody, really. But it basically didn't know what it was doing was going to destroy the entire face of the planet.
Right. Yeah, it didn't know any better. It was just
A child
finding its way home.
Yeah.
Rudimentary intelligence. Maybe. Because it seems like the Pavins, all they really legitimately want is to bring harmony to everything. They evolved in a very harmonious sense. So maybe their intentions are legit,
Yeah.
But I mean, it's humans and Klingons. Probably two of the most passionate races in science fiction.
Yeah, we corporeal beings are such a. What's that line when an ascended being talks to a non-ascended or a corporeal us or human? Crap, I had it for a second.
Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Well, right, somewhere around that. Thank you. Yeah, so close to that. What did Q say to Picard back in the day? When Q was telling about the continuum and humans.
Oh yeah, like humans are a blip. It
Yeah.
ultimately comes down to it. Humans just don't matter.
Right.
This crap matters. Q only got involved because it amused him temporarily.
Hmm.
And of course, then at the same time as very beginning, by the time we got beyond that, Q began interacting with Voyager and such. Q's opinion of humanity had completely changed. It went from y'all are just a blip to humanity is destined for amazing things if we can get y'all to just behave. So it's
Yeah, that's a novel concept, behaving. But,
right. The fastest way to get a human being to do something is tell them not to do it.
Then we do it. So I mean,
Yeah. So you can't do that. Watch me.
Right.
That is humanity in a nutshell, right there. Good episode. Well, okay. So yes, it was a good episode. Like structurally, it was great. There was a lot of really good things, like the stuff on the planet, the special effects with the Pavans was really awesome. Seeing Saru, a little expansion of Saru's character, seeing what a Kelpian could do. Lots of really good stuff there. But for me, the episode felt, although there was some really great development in there, and we saw some really cool stuff, the episode felt like it was just built up to next week. Like it was like almost like the first half of a two-parter.
or a placeholder to something more better.
Yeah.
Right. It's like nothing really major happened in this episode. Wasn't a bad episode. Wasn't the best episode. It wasn't last week's episode or the week before that. That's for sure. But it was pretty good. Wasn't bad. I mean, I enjoyed it. Of course, I'm enjoying all the episodes. So, all right.
So you felt this episode it wasn't awesome. It wasn't great. It was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I was with it. It didn't blow my mind like last week's episode did. That was. And then the episode before that with Sarek, that was phenomenal. But this week was good. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being Spock's brain, 10 being City on the Edge of Tomorrow, or City on the Edge of Forever. I would give this one a 7.
I agree.
What y'all think?
Yeah, I'll go 7. It's fair. It's not the best. Not definitely not the Warp 10 Salamander babies.
Yeah. Side goes, he concurs with a 7. It's a small world one. I enjoyed it a lot. I love their discussion of first contact regulation. Yes, General Order 1 and first contact information being talked about there. That was really good. That was fantastic. Telling the truth about how he felt about Klingons.
Yeah.
Yep. Tom Patel, give him 7. Michael Smith, 7.5. This was good. So I think chat's kind of like right in line about how we feel. Like, good episode, not like a jaw-dropping episode, but it was good.
Middle of the pack, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't suck, that's for sure.
No, it didn't. No. I mean, I'd probably give it maybe a 5, maybe a 6. I mean, it's just that my expectations for next week's episode is riding really high. They better end this on a good cliffhanger. They have to, for
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's just right now. It's just a little taste to see what's going to happen next week. There was nothing really too special about it. It actually felt like an old school Trek episode. Actually, if you think about it. beaming down to a planet, finding a new species, that kind of thing. But it was pretty good.
Yeah, like I really liked we got an away mission. Like I'm kind of digging the away mission uniforms. I like the backpack. I like the tactical vest. All that's really cool. Mei Satsuma 7.5. J Tank 7.5. So I think us and our viewers are all in kind of agreement. Small world, give it a 7.5. Cool. Well, I think any apparently nobody wanted to join us this week. That's fine. We're here every week. Final thoughts on the episode, Kevin. What do you think?
Again, good episode, middle of the pack. I'm really more interested to see if the Admiral is alive or dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, it could go either way. I want to say she's alive, and I want to say she breaks Laurel out of the Klingon dungeon ship. But if she's dead, then I don't think she's dead.
No, I think she's alive. I think she's alive, and I think she because Laurel's playing everybody. I think Cornwell and Laurel have a plan.
Yeah.
Pat, final thoughts on the episode.
I agree with ourselves in the chat. With it being the 7, it was a good episode. Yeah, we saw a lot more of Laurel, and yes, again, she's playing all angles. Again, I still say keep her shit together because she fucks up. She's getting cut, shot, or whatever. Thrown out
Right.
of Jeffrey's tools or whatever. But without, I don't know, me personally, without knowing what's coming next episode, this episode was kind of a meh.
Right. I hear you. Like it's just like a slow anticipation for what's to come. Will, final thoughts on the episode?
Well, this was definitely a Saru episode, hands down. We didn't see too much of the Tyler and Michael Burnham love story there. I would like for them to explore that a little bit more, but they just kind of touched upon that. Laurel, have no idea what her thought processes are. Would love to see how that comes about in the next episode. But like I said, it's an okay episode. But like y'all were saying, it's just a slow anticipation for what's to come next week.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm right there as well. Slow episode, good episode, but a slow episode, all set up for next week. I didn't even realize next week was the finale until the fall finale until the promo popped up at the end of the episode. And I'm like, no! Don't worry, guys. We're going to continue our little show here. We've got some fun stuff up. We might run through the greatest episodes in Trek and the worst episodes in Trek and kind of discuss them. I think we can all talk about some Spock's brain and some warp 10 salamanders for a hot minute. I think that'd be fun. The Pavans are smelling very Organian there, Kirk. Yes, they are. Kind of earthy. That's what organic smells like. Yeah. So than usual, we're kind of about 10 minutes early, but that's okay because we talked about everything. That's just the nature of the beast. Thank you all very much for participating in chat. We really appreciate it. It's really nice. It looks like we've got some legitimate fans in here, people that come in here week after week after week. Thank you. I am Average Joe, the Average Geek. Thank you all very much for watching. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Go ahead and share the link to this video with your fans. Let's get this community going, and make sure you hit that subscribe button on the channel there. Thank you all very much for watching. I am Average Joe, the Average Geek. Speaking for my bridge crew, Kevin Stallings, Pat Whitehead, Will Smith. Thank you all very much. Live long and prosper.